We say, "Don't rock the boat," as a caution to someone who is making trouble and causing division. Well, that can happen anywhere, even among people who proclaim allegiance to Messiah Yeshua and should know better. In fact, some of the most contentious people are fellow believers. People of faith seem to be the most contentious of all, even though we often don't intend to be. Sometimes we're guilty not merely of rocking the boat, but of trying to sink it. And the whole time we are drilling a hole in the boat, we're loudly proclaiming that we're doing exactly what God told us to do. Well, that may sound ridiculous, but it's more common among God's people than we like to admit. Perhaps the most memorable example is Korah, the man who challenged Moses with an insurrection that threatened to split the fledgling nation of Israel. From the biblical account, we understand that Korah wanted to become high priest in the place of Aaron. Was the rebellion Korah's idea, or the idea of his co-conspirators, Dathan and Abiram, of the tribe of Reuben? They were notable men of the tribe fathered by Israel's oldest son. It's possible they resented the fact that their tribe, and they themselves, didn't receive prominence in the national leadership. If so, then they were following the example of their ancestor. Reuben disqualified himself from his birthright position when he had a sexual encounter with his father's concubine. But he saw an opportunity to get back into his father's good graces when his brothers plotted to kill their annoying younger brother Joseph. Reuben persuaded them to sell the boy into slavery instead. His scheme was to free Joseph from the pit where the brothers had trapped him and restore the boy to their father. A grateful Israel might then restore the birthright to Reuben. It's not difficult to imagine that the tribe of Reuben inherited the ways of their patriarch, always scheming to regain what they perceived to be their rightful place of honor. Perhaps that's what Dathan and Abiram intended when they discovered that Korah had reasons of his own to challenge the existing order. Actually, it doesn't matter which party planted the idea of insurrection, or which one acted as the senior partner in the conspiracy. The fact is, they needed each other, and they worked together to build a movement to challenge the existing order. We can surmise that if they had succeeded, their alliance would soon fall apart as their egos drove them to turn on one another. Such is the way of arrogant, greedy people, as Proverbs tells us. Sheol and Abaddon are never satisfied, and neither are the eyes of man. It's this insatiable desire to be in charge of our circumstances that always gets us in trouble. What irks us is that we can't order everything and everyone in ways that please us. We want to be little gods of our own tiny universes. What we forget is that we wouldn't have our tiny universes if the true God of the universe didn't first breathe us into existence and then keep us in existence as long as He pleases. We can't manipulate Him, much though we try, but we can manipulate other people. And that's why we always run the risk of chronic discontent when we inevitably run into people we can't control. The Bible is full of instructions about this. Instead of hating other people, we're supposed to love them. Instead of being prideful and considering ourselves better than others, We're supposed to be humble and serve others. Paul even says we are supposed to submit to one another out of reverence for Messiah. Well, that's hard to do at any time, but especially difficult when the people we're supposed to serve are such nasty characters. But think of the alternative. If even God's people can't find a way to get along, then his plan to redeem and remake humanity from the inside out has failed. Is that really where this is going? Well, yes, if it depended entirely on us. Happily, it doesn't. God will have his redeemed and restored humanity, whether we like it or not. It would be easier if we would cooperate. But even if we don't, he has a way of making things turn out according to his desires. He can even use the disagreeable boat rockers among us to move his plans along the desired path. That's what Paul explains to the Corinthian community. First of all, when you come together as Messiah's community, I hear that there are divisions among you, and to some extent I believe it. For there must be factions among you, so that those among you who are tried and true may be evident. Well, this is another one of those points in the Bible where we wonder if God is unfair. Is he deliberately putting the boat rockers in our midst just to test us? Whether he is or not, such people provide him an opportunity to test us all and give us the opportunity to rise above ourselves and be transformed into the new people he wants us to be. Yeshua tells us that stumbling blocks and offenses are bound to come, and that it won't be good for those by whom they come. It's not that God is unfair or manipulative, but he is perfect, and he wants his children to be perfect. We won't get closer to that goal if we keep trying to sink the boat that's taking us there.